Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dave TV here on DCRTV.com. Crazy day. It's okay. It's the 30th, Friday the 30th. Started the big 4-day Labor Day week-a-thon. I'm listening to WBIG yesterday. They're playing a new song from Paul McCartney. I mean, I listen to BIG all the time. Classic rock, classic hits, whatever you want to call it. And I know every song. You know, every single song they play is a well-worn, well-trodden gem of classic rock. And I know the minute, that first couple notes, oh yeah, that's, that's CCR, or that's, ELP, or that's the Cars, or that's whatever, the Beatles, or, the minute that boom, boom, boom. And then they play this song and I'm going, what the F is that? It's a brand new Paul McCartney song, and I did kind of get it. I said, that sure sounds like old Paul, doesn't it? What's the deal with Big playing a new Paul McCartney song? Obviously, somebody at the record company slipped a whole bunch of bucks to Clear Channel to play that. I don't know, some promotional thing, but don't do that again, please. We don't want to hear new stuff from all these guys. We want to hear the old stuff. You don't want to play Maybe I'm Amazed or Hey Jude, fine, but don't play new stuff, man. That sucks. Anyhow, welcome to Dave TV for the 30th of August. So anyhow, I get up this morning, do my DCR TV stuff. About 10 o'clock, I say I need to get some air. I need some air. So I go out and take my walk around Reston's Lake Thoreau, and I'm coming around, or like Lake Audubon. I always get the two lakes mixed up, Lake Audubon. And I come back, and I end my walk there at Reston South Lakes Village Center, swing through the Starbucks, because I usually know a lot of people there. Didn't see anyone I know. Actually, I did, but just said hello. And then I walked around to South Lake Safeway there, where I pick up my lunch. I just get a couple, go to the salad bar, get some nice veggies and a few sandwiches. And I'm going to the checkout, and all of a sudden someone shouts, "Hey, Dave!" And I turn around, and it's a guy, just an ordinary-looking guy there. And I'm going, "Hi." I think, it's some person who reads my website. And he says, "Oh, Dan Mason." I'm like, oh, it's Dan Mason. Dan Mason. He's the president of CBS Radio. CBS Radio, I don't know, is the third or fourth largest radio company in the country. You got Clear Channel, you got Cumulus, you got CBS, right? They're huge. And it's like, there he is. And now I knew Dan lived in Reston. I knew he's, kind of the Washington area guy. And I've heard a lot about him. I've never met him before. I don't go to radio conventions and stuff like that. It was just really nice to meet him. And, we shook hands, and he said he reads my website and da-da-da. And it was really nice. He says, I know you trash me a lot. You trash us a lot on your website, but I really like it. So that's really very cool. And anyhow, so if you want to know, this is Dan. I pulled this out of the DCRTV archive. This is Dan Mason from 1977. He was a DJ there on PGC, which is now a CBS station. Dan Mason rocks you every night from 6 to 9 p.m. So he's, that's him. Now imagine him a little older, and the hair, of course, is not quite the same these days. A little more conservative cut there. But there's Dan from 1977 WPGC. So I thought I'd show that to you. But anyhow, so then I pulled Dan over, and we sat down over there at the little sandwich bar there at the Safeway, and I said, okay, here's what you got to do. I said, 3 of the junks are fine, but that 4th one has got to go. And I'm not going to tell you which junk it was. But get rid of that 4th guy, because he's dragging them all down. And then I went over to WNEW. I said, the management people over there are pretty good, but there's a couple that really need to be. And then I said, over there at Fresh 94.7, that Tommy McFly, oh my God. No, I didn't. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I really should sit down with Dan and talk business and do what the hell's up with CBS? What the hell's up with NEW on 99.1? You need a better signal, da-da-da. And I really should have, I really felt the urge to say, what the hell with HFS? Bring that back, huh? But I didn't. I really didn't. I just was, hi, how you doing? I some guy in the Safeway there. You don't want to sit and bombard them, be your obnoxious self. But I could have. But I'm thinking as I'm walking away, with my bag of greens there from the salad bar, I'm thinking, I should have asked Dan about this, and I should have asked Dan about this, and I should have asked Dan about this. And what do you think of John Geronimo? Why don't you bring him back? But anyhow, So I digress. But I still think my best idea yet for a long time is that CBS needs to make a deal with Dan Snyder and buy out Dan Snyder's local radio stations, including WTEM. Okay? That's what I think. Because, yeah, Washington is not a super sports talk market. Okay? We love our Redskins and that kind of thing, but this is not a super duper hot sports talk market like New York is or Chicago is. We're kind of like, a fair weather sports market, and the Nationals, even though the Nationals are doing good, they're not great, and no one's showing up for the games. That's the way Washington is. It's kind of like, fair weather sports market, and we really can't support two sports talkers in this town, JFK and TEM. So we really need to get rid of one of them, and CBS can make a deal with Dan Snyder and say, look, Dan, we know your radio properties have, sunk in value over the years. We'll buy you out, okay? We'll just buy the whole cluster, So buy it up. So then you make JFK, make JFK 106.7 The Fan, the only sports talker in town, and then they can start getting, take 17th place and maybe go up to 13th or 14th place, So at least that gives them the lock on the market. Then you take Dan Snyder's signals and you do various things with them. You take 980, for example, and you make 980 a simulcast of WNEW. There you go. You have WNEW on AM and FM. Now, that won't solve all of WNEW's problems because 980 still has a sucky night signal, but it helps, okay? And CBS news stations need to be on AM. They just have that quality. You listen to Winds in New York on 1010. You listen to CBS at 880. You listen to KYW on 1060 out of Philly. You listen to BZ on 1030 out of Boston. They really need to. They need to be on AM. So there you go. It's a fairly good AM signal. Maybe you can juice it up a little bit, and at least you get pretty, it improves WNEW's coverage into parts of Northern Virginia, at least inside the Beltway, that kind of thing, and gives them a little prestige of being, maybe the second or third best AM signal in the Washington market, which ain't saying much, but there you go. It gets rid of Dan Snyder's competition, and I think that would work. And then what you do in the deal, as I've said before, is you make a deal with Dan Snyder to have the Redskins rights for 10 years. And you say the Redskins are going to go on 106.7 Sports Talker, and we're going to put them on 99.1, the news station. So they'll be you'll have unbroken FM coverage for the Skins all the way from northeastern Maryland to central Virginia, from Elkton to Charlottesville. Great coverage of the Redskins, okay? So there you do that, okay? And then you take that 94.3 down there in Warrenton that Dan Snyder uses as an ESPN 980 relay, and you put El Zal. Okay, El Zal's up there in Annapolis, and you have Warrenton. So that fills the gap for El Zal. Okay, now you could also use 94.3 for NEW too, but I don't know what you do with 980 then. I guess you could sell it. But this would make sense because WL Zal's signal gets bad when you get down to southern Fairfax County and Prince William County. And there's a lot of Hispanic population down in the Manassas area, and this would reach them, Prince William County, Woodbridge, Stafford area. There's a lot of Hispanic folks down there that can't get El Zal very well. This would solve that problem. And, of course, you would then sell these two signals, 570 and 92.7. I mean, I could have brought that up to Dan. I said this to Dan, do it. But I did it, yeah. It's like, I was just kind of like, whoa. But, I should have said, well, yeah, and so anyhow, the mystery is, which of the four junks is dragging them down? Get rid of the one, and they'll be fine. Oh, yeah, and I'm like, oh, what's the deal with the WJFK afternoon show? Oh, my God, please fix it. and bring me back my HFS. Anyhow, it was kind of weird running into Dan today, but that was cool. What do you do, huh? Channel 5, their news director is gone. Phil Metlin is retiring, so they'll be looking for someone new over there. So that's some interesting news. And what else is going on? Yeah, and of course WRQX completes its tweak to its hit format. I really think in this market, Hot 99.5 and 94.7 Fresh FM beat the damn shit out of 107.3. Easy. They really need to be looking, Cumulus in this market really needs to be doing some major changes, a lot more than what they're doing. They need to completely do Mix 107.3 over. And as I've said, I really think they should go back to the Q107 logo, and they need to do some sort of an English-Spanish bilingual hit station. That's what I think they should do. I really think they should do it. That would really set them apart. And it would be cool. It's too cool for Cumulus, though. And of course MAL, they need to get rid of that. Don't bring that damn Michael Savage in afternoons once Sean Hannity leaves. You need to get an afternoon show there, and they need some, I say to myself, I'm a kind of a left-leaning guy, and at the mornings I'm like, okay, TOP's great for 20 minutes or so to get the headlines, and then I'll flip over to the Junkies, and they're talking about their underwear or something, and I'm going, okay. And then I'll flip over. I want some political talk, and I don't feel like putting on MSNBC, and so I flip over to MAL, and it just drags you down, and you go, oh, God, not these idiots again. They really need to get some talk over there that's, and I don't say, as I say, it doesn't matter if they lean a little conservative, but man, it needs to be a broader mix, and it sounds so amateurish. But again, we're talking Cumulus, right? What are we going to do? Bad. They've perfected mediocre radio. All right, folks, thanks for watching Dave TV for this 30th of August 2013. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Bazinga!